How did we start off?
We kicked off with it was going to be a toss between which WarGames match we were going to start off with, but we kicked off with the women's WarGames match, which saw the man Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Michin, Maya Yim, and Bianca Belair team up to take on Rhea Ripley, Nikki Cross, and Damage Control.
Yeah, and of course, over in America, it's Thanksgiving weekend. They had a sold-out crowd of 15,609. And for those who might not be overly familiar with the War Games concept, basically you've got two rings side by side, and they have like a metal plate to sort of have the even flooring between the two rings. There's a giant big cage comes down over them. And at the top of the ramp, there are two smaller cages which houses 4 members of each team. And one member from each team goes out and starts the match. And it was Dakota Guy and Bianca Belair started this one. And every 5 minutes, a team member from one of the teams is introduced. So it's a wee bit like a bit of a Royal Rumble type thing, but a team version, I suppose. But the match, interestingly enough, Anthony, the match doesn't, even though they're going at it for 20, 30 minutes, the match doesn't officially start until all members of both teams are in the ring.
Yeah, which was a bit of an interesting thing.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting concept because, as we said, I mean, if you've got four people from each team in the cage and at 5-minute intervals, what's that, about 40 minutes of literally non-stop action, and then the match starts.
Yeah,
so it's pretty crazy. But what did you think? You're our women's wrestling aficionado.
Well, I didn't know how this was going to go.
No, same.
Because, I mean, Becky Lynch was only just announced yesterday as the 5th member.
Yeah.
Which, between you and me, I would have kept that for pay-per-view.
Oh, as the surprise entrant.
Yeah.
Actually, that would have been good, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as obvious as it was going to be, but it would have made people want to watch the pay-per-view. But that's just my little thing on that.
That's interesting, actually, because if they'd left it to that, you could be possibly thinking Becky Lynch, you could possibly be thinking Charlotte Flair, you could possibly be thinking someone totally off the page, and I think she would have got a bigger pop had she sort of come out, then. But, yeah, good point. That's why you're the fastest rising manager in Australia.
Yes, who's currently recovering from a hangover, but that's all right.
Yes, but we know that, yes. Self-inflicted, no sympathy here. Anyway, but what did you think of the match itself?
It was interesting because I didn't know how this was going to go, because I did like how, it started off, it wasn't too crazy to begin with. As the ring built up, it did become a bit clustery.
Well, even though there were 2 rings, yes, it did look. Well, do you think though that was because they basically had ladders, trash cans, kendo sticks, tables, even handcuffs? Although the handcuffs wouldn't clutter much, but you had all of that plus 10 competitors.
Yeah,
it was a busy sort of scene, wasn't it? A bit like South Bank last night.
Yeah, but I'm guessing this was the way because you got definitely matches that can come out of this.
Oh, God, yeah.
Obviously, Bianca Bailey is finished. I don't see that kicking on.
Yeah, I think that might have moved on now.
But in saying that, you still got Mia Yim and
Rhea Ripley
with that little feud they've got going on there.
Oh, that'll definitely go because that hasn't really even started yet. So.
Yeah, it's still at that boil point. But then you've got it just really doesn't seem to me where do you leave Damage Control, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Nikki Cross for that matter?
Well, possibly something with Nikki Cross and Alexa, but yeah, I don't know that would put too many bums on seats, to be honest.
Yeah.
Although if Alexa wanted to handcuff me to her, I'd buy tickets to that. Nikki Cross, I don't know. I think they're just trying something else again with her. I don't know that she's no Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair, but I don't know. And I mean, a few others have seemed to have dropped off the face of the earth, like Doudrop and all of them. So, yeah, it's hard to know what they're doing with all of that. I think Lynch and Bailey will probably kick off something.
Yeah, because that's
sort
of started a little.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed though, during the match towards the end when Io Sky came flying off the top of the cage, she actually injured Bianca Belair. Bianca was down for a bit, and the referee was down on his hands and knees and talking to Belair for quite a while. And then when they did a couple of aerial shots, you could see Becky Lynch crawling over, and they were talking quite a bit. And Becky sort of stayed close to her till she either got her wind back or got back on her feet.
Yeah.
So I think obviously she got hurt a bit. And I tried watching from the replay. I couldn't quite work out whether it was her shoulder or whether she got winded, or couldn't quite make out where she got hurt, but she definitely got hurt.
Yeah, maybe that comes with the territory of that time.
Oh, absolutely, especially in a helter-skelter match like that. But look, I thought Over the Top was good. I like the finish, although, sometimes with the big high spots and all that, but, I don't think I've ever seen Becky Lynch, well, certainly not come off the top of a cage, that I can remember, with a huge big leg drop down on the tag team champs of Dakota Kai and Sky and for the pin. But it wasn't a bad. I actually didn't really have anything overly negative about the match.
No, me neither. As I said, I did like that they left the table at that last spot. They didn't waste the table. Because even though he's very conspicuous by his absence, I did watch it with Matt, and I said to him, "Look, they got to leave the table for last. They got to leave the table for last."
Yes,
which they did, and I'm happy they did. But it was definitely an interesting match. I get the baby faces went over.
Yeah. I mean that look, in that particular scenario, I don't think it would have mattered greatly which team went over. I mean, it was a good match, and no one got buried either way. But you give the fans what they want, because we're heading towards some of the big pay-per-views now, like Royal Rumble at the end of January. And then going straight towards WrestleMania. So you start giving the fans what they want and warm them up a bit.
I definitely think there's something with Ripley and Belair.
Now, bear me out if I'm wrong, because your memory's a lot better than mine. Right. Wasn't it supposed to be Bianca Belair and Ripley at the last WrestleMania, but Ripley got injured, or one of the pay-per-views?
That was Money in the Bank.
Okay, so I think you'll probably find that might end up at
Mania.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Unless, of course, Flair comes back and, well, she will, because they're promoing the last pay-per-view and this pay-per-view, so she's obviously not far away. Yeah, but I think people would actually rather probably, as much as I love Charlotte Flair and think she's the best women's wrestler around, I think people would rather see Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, because you got two very similar yet very different types of wrestlers. Bianca is extremely athletic, agile. She's a big girl. Ripley's same, but there's more of that sort of hard nut brawler type, China type person.
Yeah.
I actually think that would be a very, very good main event not main event, but sorry, a very good match at Mania. But time will tell, I guess. What did you give it out of 10, this match?
I gave it a 5.
Oh, really?
Because I didn't, I'm not saying I wasn't happy with the finish.
Yes.
I just didn't know what it left.
Well, in a match like that, it's a bit hard. I mean, different to the men's match, which we'll talk about later, the main event, because we know what sort of that left and potentially what will come out of that. But I actually scored an 8, Anthony.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually was reasonably impressed.
It was definitely a good match. I'm not taking anything away from it. It's just that it kind of not closed the book, but it left a bit of a what if factor.
Yeah, but maybe they need to close it there, and start getting ready for Mania with some of the women's stories and whatnot. Like Becky's back, Charlotte will be back. So you're going to sort of have the A-graders coming back. So I suppose you've got to clear the decks a bit and start a few fresh storylines with them. Because I can't really see much happening. I don't know what will happen with the tag titles. Maybe Oscar and Bliss will go again, but nah. But then again, sort of who else is there in the women's tag division as such? Don't know.
Yeah.
Hard to say. But as I said, I gave it an 8, you gave it a 5, but that's it's all subject to opinion, and none of us are right or wrong. It's how we see it.